Hi guys, Harbs here. So that I haven't made a video in 2 weeks, I was in the UK being British.
If you want some, I'll give it you.
But now I'm back in Italy and therefore ready to make videos again. This video will contain some very minor DATAMINED content, and what I mean by that is that the DATAMINED content that I'll be using has already been posted on YouTube, Reddit and other forums, so it is pretty widely available and you may have already seen it. For this theory, I'll mainly be using other sources, but I just wanted to warn you all that there will be a bit of sneaky data mining. Okay, let's go. So I'll just straight up say that I think Mizora's father is Levistus. Okay, thanks for watching. No, just kidding. Levistus is the archdevil of Stygia, a layer in the 9 hells. I'll explain why I think this and also why I think Levistus might end up being involved with the main plot in this video. So we all know that Mizora is a Cambion. I've seen on some sites that she has been referred to as a succubus, but this isn't true.
I'm a Cambion, not a devil, you fool. I can die.
Also, Mizora is clearly the offspring of a devil rather than a demon.
A Cambion. Half human, half devil.
Then my father will, and your eternal soul will be his.
So why might Levistus be Mizora's father? Well, the first point, and this is also the weakest of them, is that she has blue skin, something I would usually associate with ice and coldness. This doesn't mean much on its own, and in fact in the book of Vile Darkness 2002, Levistus is described as having pale skin, but if you look online, it is assumed by a lot of people that he has blue skin. This is likely because of all the pictures of him throughout the years, where he has been trapped by Asmodeus in a huge block of ice. Yes, despite being the ruler of the 5th layer of hell, Levistus cannot move around it, and yet he still has numerous agents and cultists that do his bidding upon the material plane, allowing him to meet his soul quota. And yes, I'm aware of the logistical difficulties that being trapped in ice might bring you if you wanted to have a daughter, but hear me out. This theory is not wholly based on Mizora's blue skin, or so easily countered by Levistus' inability to get down to it. To supplement this theory, we need to look at Wyll, who before Mizora was not a very good fighter. In fact, he was quite possibly useless before his newfound powers.
Wasn't much of a fighter back then. Just a thorn in their backsides. It wasn't a good fit. The fist knew a different Wyll. One who could barely tell a sword from a swallow.
But it isn't just his magic that has allowed him to excel in monster hunting. After all, he is known as the Blade of Frontiers. In AD&D's Guide to Hell, it says that the Archdevil's favoured weapon is a rapier, and in the Book of Vile Darkness it has the following to say on Levistus. Back in his day, Levistus wore loose, silky finery and carried a glistening rapier. He was known throughout many planes as a swordsman of great prowess. He ended many conflicts with a personal duel, always resulting in the death of his opponent. Clerics who favour Levistus, also called Blade Ravers, rarely look like priests. They wear a flamboyant, silky garb and carry the Archdevil's favoured weapon, a rapier. They look more like swashbucklers than religious zealots. Wyll has the Blade of Frontiers tag, which gives him an automatic proficiency in rapiers specifically, even though he used to be useless with weapons pre-Mizora.
The fist knew a different Wyll. One who could barely tell a sword from a swallow.
Another thing we can note is that when we find Wyll in the Druid's Grove, one of the spells that he has chosen out of the 10 initially available to Warlocks is Armour of Agathis. This spell is described as follows: a spectral frost covers you, gain 5 temporary hit points and deal 5 cold damage to any creature that hits you with a melee attack. Now obviously every warlock can choose this spell when creating their character, but I wonder if it was picked deliberately for Wyll. In Morden Canaan's Tome of Foes, there are options to create tiefling subraces, with the Levistus tiefling being the only one which gives the tiefling Armour of Agathis, therefore linking the spell somewhat to Levistus. Also, the very nature of the spell itself, covering the caster in ice for protection, is rather reminiscent of how Levistus is protected in Stygia, albeit he is also trapped. In the game files, we can see reference to some spells not yet available in the game. One of them is Tomb of Levistus, which is an eldritch invocation in Xanathar's Guide to Everything that is only available at 5th level. This is a reaction where when you take damage you can entomb yourself in ice and gain 10 temporary hit points, and it is obviously a direct reference to Levistus' state in Stygia. Out of curiosity, I checked the files for other eldritch invocations from Xanathar's Guide to Everything, and not all of them are in there, but there are a few others like Grasp of Hadar, Gift of the Ever-Living Ones, Improved Pact Weapon, and Lance of Lethargy. Anyway, Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance, a recently released hack-and-slash game which is set just after the novel The Crystal Shard, follows the Companions of the Hall as they defend Icewind Dale against a myriad of evil foes who wish to claim the powerful Crystal Shard for themselves. All the cutscenes for the game are available to watch, and I've linked a video down below if you want to check it out. I've also linked the legendary Wolfheart FPS's channel because he has done an actual playthrough of the game if you want to see it in more detail, and even if the game isn't great, Wolfheart himself is always really fun to watch. Anyway, so this clip that I'm about to show you is shown to us after the player characters have defeated all of the villains that want to get their hands on the Crystal Shard. It is the final one of the game. Now, the Crystal Shard wasn't destroyed until 1366 DR in the novel Servant of the Shard, and Dark Alliance is set in 1356 DR, so there is still another 10 years where Levistus could be seeking it out. However, if we take a look at Took Games' DLC roadmap, you'll notice that there is an expansion called Echoes of the Blood War. I also found this interview over on GamesBeat with the head of Took Games, Jeff Hattem. Here, Hattem refers to the inclusion of Levistus. He sees the Crystal Shard, which has immense heat capabilities to incinerate anything in the realms, and perhaps that is the key for him to break out of his ice prison. However, later on in the interview he says the following: Levistus is really cool. I don't know if you've seen our DLC roadmap, but the last DLC that we have in our current set of DLCs planned is Echoes of the Blood War. If you're familiar with the Blood War, the devils and the demons are in this never-ending stalemate. Only one simple artifact, a powerful artifact, could sway the tide of the Blood War. That's what Levistus is after. And I'm not entirely sure when Echoes of the Blood War will be set, but Jeff does say this: Levistus was a passion of mine too. I wanted to weave to bridge the gap between the Blood War, which is more current events in D&D than the past. 100 years is nothing in the timeline of Archdevils. He's been imprisoned in his ice pyramid for such a long time. With Dark Alliance being set in 1356, could the expansion move the game into the 15th century? Will this artifact be related to the one we have in Baldur's Gate 3? Wizards of the Coast are known for linking up all of their products, and we can already see references in the game files to Karlach, a seasoned veteran of the Blood War, knowing who Mizora is.
Mizora. I've heard that name before.
Considering we see Levistus' ice tomb beginning to crack at the end of Dark Alliance, Jeff stating that he wants to bridge the gap between the Blood War, which he describes as more current events, will we be seeing more of Levistus within D&D products in general? His cult, the Knights of the Black Sword, feature in the most recent full adventure by Wizards of the Coast, Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frostmaiden. Him breaking free in Echoes of the Blood War and hunting for a powerful artifact that could sway the tide of the Blood War would be a good way to link it to Baldur's Gate 3, if of course it is the same artifact. And of course, after everything we've seen about Wyll and the other things that I've talked about in this video, I really think that he would be a perfect candidate to be Mizora's father. Anyway, thanks for watching guys. If you enjoyed this video then do please give me a like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!